Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. As you saw by the title, today I'm going for the platinum on the PS4 2016 remake of Ratchet and Clank. But before we do get into that, I would just like to apologize for how long it's been since I last uploaded. I've been very busy with just life stuff, and I've also kind of been taking a break from trophy hunting. I got a bit burnt out, so just took a bit of a break, but now I'm back in time to get this game done. Hopefully be able to get Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart done soon as well, and then get ready for Spider-Man 2 coming out October 20th. I am going to smash that game out and upload that as quick as I can for you guys. Anyway, sorry again. Now let's get back to the game at hand, Ratchet and Clank. I have never actually played a Ratchet and Clank game in my life. I didn't grow up with a PlayStation. PS5 is my first PlayStation I've ever owned, so unfortunately I never got to play any of the originals, so I was kind of blind going into this because I didn't really know what it was about. So yeah, unfortunately I didn't know much about the gameplay. I can't go back and play the originals as I don't have a PS3. I'm only going to play games that are available on my PS5, and so the only two Ratchet and Clank games are this PS4 remake of the first game and then Rift Apart as well. But with that being said, I do think this PS4 remake was actually a really good intro to the series. I have heard that the movie that they tied to this game in 2016 is really bad and people didn't like it, but people didn't actually mind this game, and I can definitely see why. I had lots of fun with it, and I can definitely see why the OG Ratchet and Clank games would have been so fun. And you know what? It was a really easy platinum too. I had so much fun going for the platinum on this game. So in total there are 47 trophies to collect in Ratchet and Clank. And the guide on PSN Profiles actually gives it a 3 out of 10 difficulty, takes 2 playthroughs and about 25 hours to platinum. And so I was able to break down this process into 3 easy steps. Alright, so the first 2 steps are your typical platinum journey steps. Step 1 is beat the story, and step 2 is clean up miscellaneous trophies. And then for the last and final 3rd step, we do a new game plus playthrough and also aim to max out all the weapons as well. Okay, so with all that finally out the way, let's get into the trophies and step 1. Okay, so unfortunately for my first trophy, my recording wasn't working, so I had to use the automatic clip that I took on my PlayStation, and this is for getting the first story trophy, basically training, so nothing too important anyway. Same with the second trophy. Unfortunately I was still having troubles with my recording, but I did get this next story trophy, the little robot that could. Luckily, by the time the third trophy rolled around, I had finally got my recording to start working. And so for this third trophy, it isn't necessarily a story trophy, but you will get it just by playing through the first playthrough. So we get introduced to the Gadgetron vendor here, which is where you can buy and also upgrade your weapons. And so this is where I upgraded my first weapon and received a trophy for it. Confirmed. Modder. Complete your first Raritanium weapon mod. Okay, so that's my third trophy, but I hope I actually recorded it this time. Alright, moving on from that, we then find our first holo card, which does not actually give me a trophy just yet. However, you do need to find every single holo card in the game in order to get a trophy. So this is just the first 2 of many. However, it isn't too bad, as you can trade in 5 duplicates for a new one. So as long as you're collecting cards throughout the game, eventually you'll be able to trade them in for all of them. After that, I then continued on with more of the story when I got my 4th trophy. Okay. The Rescuer. Rescue the Mayor and Plumber on Novalis. Before moving on to the next planet though, I did buy my first new weapon, the Proton Drum. So something to keep in mind as well for later trophies is that you do have to max out every single weapon to its max level, level 10, and also buy all the mods and upgrades for them as well. In order to get levels, you have to just use it and kill enemies with all the different weapons. So throughout the game, I was constantly switching and trying to upgrade as many weapons as quick as possible. So from there I moved on to the next planet where I found my next collectible, the gold bolt. So unfortunately, just like the holo card, I didn't get a trophy for finding my first one. However, there is a trophy later on for finding all of them, and there are 28 in total to collect. Alright, so continuing through this planet Iridia, I ended up getting this miscellaneous trophy here without actually trying, which was for knocking a Constructo bot off the platform into the quicksand on Iridia. So yeah, that was nice. I didn't have to worry about that later on in the cleanup. Moving on, I then managed to get 2 trophies to pop at the same time. One of them was Trade Up, which was for trading in a set of duplicate holo cards for a new one. So like I said before, 5 for 1 new. And then also Trader in Training, as I completed my first holo card set. And when you complete a holo card set, you get a bonus. So for example, now I get holo cards which drop at an increased 5% rate. Making it easier to eventually collect all of them as well. Next up was another story trophy. Off to the races. Rescue Skidney's agent on Iridia. Let's go, another trophy. Following that, another story trophy. You're in the Rangers now, which was for becoming a ranger on Kerwan. Alright, now we get to something a little spicier. So I completely forgot to mention in the intro, but there are a few miscellaneous trophies in this game. Technically they're not miscellaneous because we're doing a New Game Plus playthrough anyway, so you could do it in that one. But I wanted to get these ones done on my first playthrough. So once we got to Rilgar here, we had to let the Exterminabots kill 35 amoeboids without us getting in the way. So those robots over there, we had to let them kill those green goop monsters. 35 of them to be exact, and that was a free trophy. Here on Rilgar is where I also got introduced to the hoverboard races on this game. So there are bronze, silver and gold cup versions of the race. So bronze is obviously the easiest and gold is the hardest. So I started off on bronze, and I mean it was my first attempt, so I didn't really know what I was doing, but unfortunately I ended up coming second just in my first hoverboard race. But luckily on my second attempt I knew what I was doing now, so I did manage to come first, and I did end up getting a trophy for this, which was for winning the bronze cup on Rilgar. Just to be extra, once I knew what I was doing, I decided to go on to win the silver cup and then also the gold cup. And by winning the gold cup, I actually ended up getting my first Rhino card. Now, I'm sure some of you know, if you have played Ratchet & Clank before, you know what a Rhino is. Pretty much, it is the most overpowered weapon in the game, and in this game, there is a trophy related to obtaining it, but in order to obtain it, you have to find these special Rhino cards. You cannot trade cards in for them, you just have to find them. They're just normal collectibles to find out in the world. Also, some of them you do get for doing special side quest things, like this. I won the hardest cup on Rilgar, the gold one. Keeping that in mind, I continued on with the story, where I went on to unlock the Groovatron, another weapon. Now, this weapon is very key as it is related to another miscellaneous trophy itself. This one you actually cannot do on your first playthrough, as by the time you unlock the Groovatron, it's too late, as the trophy you have to use the Groovatron on every single enemy type in the game. Some of them you can't go fight again, so we will end up getting this trophy on the New Game Plus playthrough, but on my first playthrough I made sure to hit as many enemies with the Groovatron as possible to make it a lot easier when I do the cleanup. Alright, sorry, still not quite a trophy yet. This is another thing to keep in mind, which are these puzzles using the Trespasser, a gadget. So these puzzles, there's a trophy related to completing them. You have to complete all of the ones in the game, and you cannot auto-hack them. So these puzzles, if you're stuck on them, there is an option to just auto-hack without actually doing it. You make sure you want to do all of them legit in order to get this trophy. So technically it's a miscellaneous one. You can do it on the New Game Plus playthrough, but I wanted to do it on the first one. So I just made sure to not use the auto hack feature and do all the puzzles legit using my brain. Except for the ones that I got stuck on, I just searched it up on YouTube. Okay, finally we're moving on to another trophy. So this one is a story related trophy, and I had my first big boss battle of the game, against the Blargian Snagglebeast. This guy was pretty tough to start off with, but yeah, I managed to defeat him first time and get the trophy. Who's a good Snaggle Beast? Defeat the Snaggle Beast on Nebula G34. Let's go. Moving on with the story, I then arrived on Gaspar, where I had to collect some brains for this really weird scientist dude for some reason. Anyway, it was part of the story, and I ended up getting a trophy out of it.
We've got to stop Drek from this.
Brains. Collect 30 brains for the blog scientist on Gaspar. Okay, but before moving on with more story trophies, I decided to stay on Gaspar as there wasn't just 30 brains to collect. I believe there was 80 in total to collect around this area. So while I was here, I just decided to get it done. I probably should have just done it in cleanup later on, because I realized later on I could have made it a lot easier, as you can find a map which shows you all the collectibles. So I didn't have that, so I was kind of just flying around hoping that I would eventually find all of the brains. Eventually I found all 80 of them. I returned to the scientist, got my reward, and also the trophy. Abby Normal. Collect every telepathopus brain. That was annoying to collect all those. That took like an hour. Moving on to the next planet, while I was here, I managed to max out my first weapon to level 5, which at the time I thought was the max level, but in New Game Plus you do have to get weapons to level 10, so keep in mind, like I said before, you want to be using as many different weapons as possible to be earning XP for all of them, so you're leveling all of them up as quick as possible, so you don't have to worry about cleaning it up later on. Just after that, I did end up getting the story-related trophy regarding this planet. I shot down your battleship. Shoot down the blog battleships on Battalia. Let's go. I then moved on to the next planet, where I ended up getting the next trophy. Splash down. Shoot down the hydro harvesters on Bataru. Let's go. Moving on to the next planet, I ended up having another big boss fight, this time against Mrs. Zircon here. She was pretty tough as well. But while I was here, I did end up getting another miscellaneous trophy, which was shooting 10 inactive warbots in the factory here. So over there, I don't know if you can see, but on those conveyor belts over there, I just accidentally managed to shoot 10 of them. So I don't know. That one I just randomly got, but yeah, you can definitely clean it up later anyway. It's into plowshares, destroy 10 inactive warbots inside the Quatu factory. Okay, that was just pure accident. In this boss fight, I think I'm about to die, so hopefully I don't. I did in fact not end up dying. I did manage to clutch up, and so I was able to get the story related trophy. Oh my god, Zircon family values. Defeat Mrs. Zircon on Quatu. Moving on from that, I ended up getting the next story-related trophy here. Ferocious Oxide, defeat Victor in the Phoenix. Yes, sir. Later, bot. Wait, are you serious? He's allergic to water? Interesting. Yes, that's my reaction to. Unfortunately, even after that bloke dying to water, somehow, we did not end up saving the day, as the other bad guy still pulled a Star Wars and pretty much used the Death Star to blow up Alderaan, not Alderaan, this planet here. So yeah, very similar to Star Wars, not gonna lie. But in order to turn the tables on the bad guys, I decided to go to the Gadgetron and get the Sheepinator. One of the best weapons in the game, because it turns everyone into sheeps. Just kidding. This one you do actually need for a miscellaneous trophy, and you get it just in time before you need to use it. However, just before we do get to using that Sheepinator, here is what I was talking about earlier with the map that shows you where all the collectibles are. You can find it on Kalibo 3 here. After doing that grind rail, you find it in this little container here, this map, and literally shows you where all the gold bolts are, and where the Rhino holo cards are as well, I believe, and the brains on that one planet. So it would have been very helpful having this before I went for that trophy. Okay, so now moving back to the Sheepinator. So this is technically a miscellaneous trophy, but like with the other ones, you can do it on the New Game Plus playthrough. I just wanted to get it done here. So make sure you can buy the Sheepinator just before this encounter, and this is the last time you fight against the Blarg helicopter commanders in the story. So the trophy is literally just turning one of these helicopters into a sheep, and yeah, you get the trophy. Let's go. When sheep fly, sheepinate a Blarg helicopter commander. Here on Kalibo 3 there is also another hoverboard race, so this is the second one in the game, there's only 2. And so this one it's the same thing, bronze cup, silver cup, gold cup. And you do have to do the bronze cup as a part of the trophy. Radical. Win the hoverboard bronze cup on Kalibo. Let's go.
Alaris, come in. We've got the holo guys.
Oh, wait. Tech head? Acquire every gadget. Oh, because we got the holo guys. Oh, sick.
Head back to your ship.
And so, yeah, I did end up getting a second trophy right there and then as well, which is acquiring every gadget. You do get all the gadgets from just completing the story anyway, so it's pretty much a story-related trophy. Also, while I was here, I decided to win the silver and gold cup on Kalibo 3 as well, which did result in me getting another trophy. Go speed Ratchet go. Win the gold cup on both Rilgar and Kalibo. Yeah, I just felt like doing it, and just got it done. It wasn't actually that bad, really. I then ended up getting a miscellaneous trophy without even realizing, as I was just going around destroying these planets here in the main boss's like throne room area. I was just trying to collect some bolts, and I ended up getting a miscellaneous trophy out of it. Ooh, character assassination. Destroy all the planet models in Drek's office. Now I was getting towards the end of the game as I had to have another boss fight, this time against our former friend Captain Quark, who is now our foe. He was pretty tough, just like the other ones, but pretty easy in the end. You can get it done. A change of heart. Defeat Captain Quark on the Deplanetizer. Let's go. And so pretty much straight after that you go into another boss fight, this time against Dr. Nefarious. And as per usual, he's pretty difficult. I think I did die actually quite a few times fighting against him. He's probably the hardest boss in the game, makes sense. He is the final boss, but in the end I managed to get it done and get the trophy for pretty much completing the game. Let's go to the end of the beginning, defeat Dr. Nefarious on the Deplanetizer. Oh my god, that took way too long. And so with that, I had beaten the story, I'd unlocked challenge mode, which is the New Game Plus, and completed step 1. But before we do move on to challenge mode and New Game Plus, we do have to complete step 2, which is to clean up the rest of the miscellaneous trophies. And so pretty much to start the cleanup off with, I went around to each planet individually, and I would look at the map with the Map-O-Matic and be able to see where the collectibles were, and just collected each one on every planet. And so whilst going to each planet to find the collectibles, I was also doing other miscellaneous trophies. For example, here I got my last Trespasser puzzle. So most of these are part of the story, but this one you did have to do to find a card, and yeah, I did end up getting Safecracker, which was completing every Trespasser puzzle without using the auto hack. So that is one miscellaneous trophy down. So actually unlocking this Trespasser puzzle got me another Rhino card, so I was also looking to collect all of those as well during the cleanup in order to get the Rhino weapon. And so eventually I did end up finding the final Rhino card here, so then all I had to do was return to Rilgar, I believe, and go back to the Rhino holo card dealer, give him the final one, and then he would give me my Rhino.
Oh, one new Rhino. Now don't go telling anyone you have this. Happy hunting!
Full gun rack. Acquire every weapon in the game. So yeah, the Rhino, the final one. So yes, Rhino was the last weapon I needed. All the other weapons you can just get from purchasing from a Gadgetron vendor. But yeah, the Rhino you had to get all the collectibles to get. Moving on to the next miscellaneous trophy. pool sharks are the worst. Get eaten by a pool shark in the Poketaru Ocean. So yeah, on the planet Poketaru, all you have to do is just swim out really far into the ocean, and eventually you'll get killed by one of those sharks. And so moving on, after completing pretty much every single planet, I finally got to the Deplanetizer, the final planet, final collectibles, and as you can see, there is the final gold bolt in order to get the trophy. Here it comes. Number 28, Ultimate Explorer. Collect every gold bolt. Let's go.
Very proud of himself.
Now, for the next miscellaneous trophies I'm going for, these are for completing the hoverboard races in a certain amount of time. So this first one here on Rilgar, you have to play it on the Gold Cup, and you have to get it in under 1 minute and 35 seconds. And so as you just saw, my first attempt went really poorly. You want to make sure you're not crashing into any of the explosives or failing your tricks, because it will slow you down heaps. So on my second attempt, I gave it another go, and I was off by about 3 seconds. Luckily, by the third attempt, I knew all the different shortcuts, I knew what I was doing now, I knew the course, and so I was able to get it with about 1 second to spare. Very, very lucky, but I did end up getting the trophy. Yes, okay, faster than a speeding amoeboid. Complete the hoverboard Gold Cup on Rilgar in under 1 minute 35. There you go, I got 1 minute 33. Close, very close. I then went to Kalibo to attempt the race there, the Gold Cup, and on this planet you had to get under 2 minutes and 5 seconds. And on my first attempt I almost got it, but I kind of stuffed up at the very end. I would have probably got it, but I slowed down too much at the end and missed out by about 3 seconds. However, unlike the race on Rilgar, I got this one on my second attempt. I was used to hoverboarding now. I knew the insane shortcuts, especially on Kalibo here. There's some 2 insane ones that you can get. As long as I was hitting those, I knew I was going to get it. And so I did it with plenty of time to spare in the end. To me, Kalibo Thunder. Complete the hoverboard race in under 2:05. 1:57 I did it in, let's go. Second attempt. Now for the final miscellaneous trophy related to speedrunning. You have to defeat the training course on Kerwan in under 70 seconds. And on my first attempt, I ended up failing miserably in the end, as I fell to the very bottom of one of the buildings, so there was no chance I was getting in 70 seconds. And so I had to fly all the way back around to the start of the course, which took a minute, but I got back to the end, and this time I made sure I didn't make any stupid mistakes. And I don't know exactly what time I got because it doesn't tell you, but I definitely did this one easily within the 70 seconds, I reckon. Yes, Kerwan Gladiator. Complete the fitness course on Kerwan in under 70 seconds. Moving on to the next miscellaneous trophy. This one you have to play as Clank and crush 5 of these gadget bots here on Kuatu. So in one of the rooms here there is a crusher. This is the best place to do it. You just place one of the gadget bots on the conveyor belt, and then with the other one you power up the crusher. Then once you are done putting it in position, you take away the electricity and the thing slams down on the gadget bot. And so you just keep doing this until eventually you get the trophy. Oh, okay, Clank Crusher. Crush 5 gadget bots in the crusher on Kuatu. Next up was the miscellaneous trophy here in Aliro City. You have to destroy all of these lampposts here. So for this one, I just used a guide, and it told me where all of them were. I think there's about 17. It's not too bad. It's all on this one planet, and yeah, you just got to destroy them all with your weapons. Here we go. I hate lamp. Break every lamp in Aliro City. Okay, so next miscellaneous trophy up. This one I had to return to Gaspar, where I was able to use my jetpack. And this one you just have to kill 40 enemies while flying in the air using your jetpack. So I found the best ones to do was try and find the little sand sharks, because they normally die in one hit, or the metal sharks as well. And yeah, you just make sure you're flying in the air, shoot with right trigger, and yeah, you'll kill them all. Here we go, Top Gunner. Defeat 40 enemies while jetpacking on Gaspar. Okay, next up, this is a very easy miscellaneous trophy. It's a bit weird, but you have to go to the deplanetizer, and if you go down one of these side corridors and stand in front of this door here for a bit, eventually Captain Quark will talk to you, because that is his room, and then you'll get a free trophy.
Okay, fans, the moment you've been waiting for. Captain Quark here. Ask me anything.
Can I get my trophy?
What's my greatest asset? Loyalty.
Yeah, Et2 Copernicus. Find Quark's lounge on the deplanetizer. I probably completely stuffed that up, but I'll take the trophy. Okay, moving on to the final miscellaneous trophy before moving on to challenge mode. This one is very annoying. As you can see, this catwalk here, you have to go along the whole thing without moving, so you just have to stand still, and there's actually three more of these catwalks on Kalibo here, and you have to do all 4 of them in order to get this trophy. So this one is easy, it just takes a while to do. Again. Trophy, yeah, lazy Lombax. Ride every catwalk without moving in Kalibo. Oh, okay. So now with all the miscellaneous trophies cleaned up and step 2 completed, I could now move on to step 3, which is of course challenge mode, aka New Game Plus, and finishing off maxing out all the weapons and finding the rest of the holo cards as well. Another thing to note as well is in challenge mode there are now Omega weapons, so because you've gotten the weapon to level 5, you can now purchase an even better version that you can upgrade to level 10. So unfortunately, not only do you have to get every weapon to level 5, you then have to buy a new version of it for heaps of bolts, so you have to save up bolts as well, and then once you've got it, you have to upgrade it to level 10 even further, so it is a bit of a grind, so you do want to make sure you're using every weapon in the game and leveling it up as quick as possible to make this cleanup process a lot quicker. Also, another thing to note is in this New Game Plus playthrough, you want to be making sure that you're using the Groovatron on every single enemy type, as we are back at the start of the game now, so some of these enemies are we're able to hit them again because we weren't able to do it the first time around. So as you can see here on the planet Rilgar, my final enemy I had to hit was one of these tanks here, and once I did that, I ended up getting the trophy for hitting every enemy type with the Groovatron. Continuing on through the New Game Plus playthrough, I got back to here, this boss battle, and I managed to get my first weapon maxed out to level 10, which was a trophy. However, we do need to get all weapons to max level 10, so that's just one of many. And also, eventually, I did manage to get heaps of duplicates of holo cards, so I traded them all in for the final card that I needed in order to get Super Trader for completing every holo card set. Alright, the next trophy I went for is a bit of a grindy one, but in challenge mode there is a multiplier on your bolts, and so in order to get a trophy you have to reach the max level, which is times 20, and so to increase your multiplier you just gotta kill enemies pretty much, but you cannot get hit or else it resets. And I was having trouble getting with this one, so here on Gaspar I knew that that green plant over there, if you didn't kill it, it infinitely spawned these sand sharks. So what I did, they go down in one hit, so what I did was make sure they don't hit me, and I would just hit them every now and then, killing them, slowly building up my multiplier until I got to 20 in order to get this trophy. You could do this legit, I guess, by just playing through the game and being good enough to not get hit, but I didn't really want to risk it, so I just got it done here and now. And also, I'm not good enough to do that either. Cha-ching! Reach the maximum bolt multiplier in challenge mode. Oh, far out, that took too long, bro. I was just sitting here grinding this thing. Oh, thank God. That was so boring. Yes, that was very annoying. That took quite a long time. As you can see, it was in 20 times speed and still took that long. Anyway, I moved on. Pretty much completed the rest of challenge mode. Just again, making sure that I was using all the different weapons, trying to get them to level 10. Until eventually I had beaten the game once again. Trophy, trophy, trophy. Challenging. Complete the game in challenge mode. Yes. Oh, thank God that's over. So at this point, I still had 3 more trophies to go, which was for fully upgrading every weapon to level 10, getting all the modifications for every weapon as well, and also fully upgrading Ratchet's health to 200. Now I was going to just continue on with this playthrough, going to this island here, and leaving the green plants alive and letting sand sharks spawn infinitely, but I knew that was going to take too long. It's going to take too much of a toll on my sanity, so I just decided to YOLO it and start another New Game Plus, hoping that everything carried over once again. Luckily, it does. I still had every weapon at its same level, and his health was the same as well. So that's what I would recommend to you as well. If you still have to do a bit more grinding, just do another new challenge mode, and then you can just breeze through the game and yeah, finish off the final miscellaneous stuff. I also put the difficulty on hard for some reason, but all my weapons were so overpowered at that point that it didn't even feel like hard. Anyway, I just grinded through the story as quick as I could, getting a rare titanium so I could get the final modifications for my weapons, as you can see here, so I could unlock the trophy. These go to 11. Unlock every modification for every weapon in the game. Shortly after that, I also managed to get some more XP for Ratchet and level up to increase my max health to get the trophy Mr. Fancy Pants for getting maximum level and health 200. And so finally, I managed to get the final trophy after making sure I upgraded every weapon to max level. Here we go. Master of War, upgrade every weapon to maximum level. 100%, and that means the
more enemies.
Hero of Heroes. Collect every trophy in Ratchet and Clank. Let's go! Another platinum. Woo! Yeah, sorry for whispering, being very hype. I was very late at night at this point, so that's why I wasn't really speaking too loud. But yes, I was definitely still hyped to get this platinum. In the end, it ended up taking me 17 hours in order to beat this game. And so with that being taken into account, I would say it was a pretty successful 17 hours. It was a good fun game, an easy platinum. So in terms of just ranking the game to play out of 10, I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10, I reckon. The storyline is pretty basic, not gonna lie. It is targeted towards kids, but I still had fun with it. I thought it was alright. The characters are pretty quirky. Ratchet and Clank are really cool. Would have been nice to have played the OG games to see how their relationship kind of built, I guess, even though this is technically a remake of the first game. Yeah, the gameplay is super fun. Really good gameplay. All the different weapons are so unique, and yeah, gameplay very good. So 7 out of 10. In terms of the platinum, I would probably have to go one lower and give it a 6 out of 10. Again, the gameplay does carry it, and most of the trophies are related to using the weapons, so that makes it pretty fun. Collectibles aren't too bad. Like I said, if you get the map, you can actually see where they are. There's a few things you have to use a guide for. The only thing that I'd say would drag it down is the fact that you have to do a New Game Plus and then grind out every weapon to max level. That does take a while. It pretty much took me 2.5 playthroughs, so that would be the only downside why I'd give it a 6 out of 10. All in all, a good little fun platinum, and I do really enjoy Ratchet and Clank now. I know what it's about, and I've enjoyed this first game, so hopefully get Rift Apart out soon. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a lot better, because obviously it's for PS5, but also people have said that it's better than this game, so I'm pretty hyped to get that one done and get that video out to you all. So once again, thank you all for watching, and I will see you in that video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already.